Most people don't fail in communication because they lack intelligence. They fail because they never truly listen. They enter conversations ready to talk, ready to respond, ready to prove a point, but not ready to understand. That's why opportunities slip away, relationships weaken, and trust fades before it ever begins. Let's slow this down for a moment. When was the last time you walked away from a conversation wishing you had said something differently, or realizing you didn't really hear what the other person said? It happens to almost everyone, and it's because most of us listen to reply, not to understand. The mind loves to race ahead. Someone starts talking, and instantly your brain begins constructing a response. You start forming arguments, choosing examples, or thinking about how to make your point sound intelligent. By the time they finish speaking, your mind has already run a marathon, but you never actually heard them. That's not listening. That's waiting for your turn to talk. And that habit quietly destroys connection. The first real step toward mastering communication is to train your mind to stop rehearsing and start receiving. When someone speaks, discipline your inner voice to pause. Tell yourself, I'm not here to win. I'm here to understand. Listening without planning your reply sounds easy, but it's a rare skill. The mind doesn't like stillness, it loves control. It wants to anticipate, predict, and prepare. Yet real communication happens only in presence, in the silence between your thoughts and their words. Here's what most people don't realize. Everyone you meet carries an invisible question in their mind. Do you see me? Do you hear me? Do I matter? And if you can answer those questions, not with words, but with your attention, you will never struggle to connect with anyone again. Listening without planning your reply is a discipline. You train it the same way you train a muscle. Every time you notice your mind wandering or preparing its counterpoint, gently pull it back. Refocus on the words, the tone, the emotion behind what's being said. Because communication isn't about exchanging information, it's about understanding emotion. When you truly listen, people feel it. Your presence calms them. Your attention validates them. They trust you more, open up more, and remember how you made them feel long after the words fade. If you want to grow as a communicator and as a person, you must learn this skill. Listen not to answer, but to understand. Here's the psychology behind it. When you're busy planning your reply, your brain is inwardly focused. You're listening to yourself, not them. The other person senses that, even if they can't explain why, something feels off. But when you're fully focused outward, your brain tunes into their tone, their rhythm, their energy. That focus builds trust. And trust is the currency of every relationship, personal or professional. You can't demand it. You can't fake it. You earn it by giving your full attention. So here's a simple exercise. In your next conversation, silently repeat the other person's words in your mind as they speak. This keeps your attention anchored. When they finish, pause for a brief moment, then respond. That short pause shows you weren't waiting to talk. You were truly listening. Another technique. Ask yourself silently, what are they really trying to say? What are they feeling beneath the words? This shifts your focus from sound to meaning. Because communication isn't just verbal, it's emotional. Miss the emotion and you miss the message. Think about everyday life. A husband and wife argue. He's preparing his defense before she's even done speaking. She's rehearsing her rebuttal before he finishes his sentence. They're talking but not hearing. They're expressing but not understanding. And what happens? Distance, frustration, disconnection. But if one of them stops, takes a breath, and listens without planning their reply, the entire energy changes. The tone softens. Respect grows. Healing begins. That's the quiet power of presence. In business, the same principle applies. Picture yourself across the table from a client. While they explain their pain points, you're already preparing your sales pitch. You miss what they actually need. But if you simply listen, truly listen, you catch the small details, the emotional cues, the hidden frustration behind their words. When you finally speak, your response hits the target because it's based on truth, not assumption. That's how deals are won, trust is earned, and reputations are built. Not through talking, through listening. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but if I don't plan my reply, I'll sound unprepared. No, you'll sound present. You'll sound thoughtful. You'll sound human. People will remember that. Start small. In your next conversation with a friend, set the intention. I will not think about what I'll say next. I will only focus on them. Notice when your mind drifts. Bring it back. That's the workout. Every time you refocus, your attention grows stronger. At the end of each day, reflect. Did I truly listen today? Did I give people my full focus? Where did I drift? Awareness is progress. And remember, listening isn't about staying silent. It's active presence. It's nodding, maintaining eye contact, giving small signals that say, I'm here. That's how you create a safe space where others can be honest. When you live like this, people change around you. They open up. They trust more. They feel valued. You'll notice conversations flow easier, deeper, more meaningfully. You'll stop feeling the pressure to speak perfectly because your presence does most of the talking. And slowly, your reputation transforms. People start describing you differently: calm, grounded, wise. They come to you for advice not because you talk a lot, but because when you do speak, your words carry depth. Because here's the truth. Your words only carry power when your ears carry meaning first. That is real influence. Not loud, not forceful, but magnetic, the quiet strength of someone who listens. So, here's your challenge. Today, choose one conversation, and in that moment, give the gift of pure listening. No rehearsing, no racing, just presence. Watch what happens. Notice how the other person softens, how the energy shifts, how they feel understood. That's what real communication feels like. That's what real connection is built on. Train your mind to listen without planning your reply, and you'll unlock one of the rarest powers left in our noisy world: the power of presence. Most people think influence lives in the words they speak. They rehearse lines, polish phrases, stack arguments, and sprint through sentences as if speed equals strength. But the truth is quieter. Influence often lives in what you don't say, in the breath you take before the answer, in the space you leave after a powerful point, in the moment you hold silence so truth has time to rise. A pause is not an empty gap between sounds. Pause is a tool. Pause is a message. A pause says, I'm present. I'm thinking. I value what just happened enough to let it land. We rush because we fear the quiet. Silence feels like a spotlight, and many people hide from spotlights. They're afraid the other person will judge their pause as ignorance or weakness. But in the real world, the person who can hold silence with calm composure communicates strength. They project certainty without aggression. They signal gravitas without performance. The pause shows you are not ruled by urgency. You are ruled by intention. Think about the last time someone spoke at you for 5 straight minutes without breathing. You weren't inspired, you were exhausted. Their words became a wall, and walls don't invite anyone in. Contrast that with a speaker who shares one clear sentence and then waits. Suddenly the words echo. Your brain replays them. Your heart tests them. Space turns sound into meaning. Without space, meaning has nowhere to live. There's science behind this. The human brain processes language in chunks. It needs micro breaks to organize information, tag emotions, and decide what matters. When you pour nonstop words into someone's mind, they start dropping details just to keep up. But when you pace your message, idea, breath, you align your rhythm with how the brain naturally understands. The result is retention. The result is impact. Now let's get practical. There are 3 kinds of pauses you must master if you want your communication to hit deeper than noise: the pre-voice pause, the anchor pause, and the listening pause. The pre-voice pause happens before you speak. It's a single, steady inhale that tells your nervous system, we are in control. That one breath lowers vocal tension, smooths pace, and puts intention in the driver's seat. Try this before answering hard questions, before beginning a presentation, or before responding in conflict. The pre-voice pause prevents your mouth from outrunning your mind. The anchor pause happens after you say something important. Most people rush past their best lines because they fear awkwardness. Don't. When you deliver a key idea, stop. Let it settle. Count 2 or 3 seconds in your mind. This is where emphasis is born. You don't need to shout or repeat yourself. The quiet does the emphasizing for you. Your audience's mind leans in. Your listener's attention spikes. The message drops from their ears to their memory. The listening pause is the space you hold while the other person is thinking or feeling their way to honesty. This is the most powerful of the three. When someone pauses, especially after you ask a meaningful question, do not rescue them from the silence. Do not fill it with explanations. Do not soften it with quick reassurance. Simply hold the space with relaxed eye contact and open body language. 9 times out of 10, they will continue, and what they say next is the truth they were almost afraid to share. That truth changes everything. Relationships, deals, decisions, trust. Let's put this in real life. Picture a couple arguing. One partner fires off accusations in rapid bursts. The other tries to respond just as quickly, afraid that if they wait, they'll lose ground. Voices rise, hearts close. Now imagine a reset. Partner says, "When you're late, I feel like I'm not important." Then silence. Not a weaponized silence, not stonewalling, a humane pause. Partner B breathes, lets the words land, and then answers slowly, "I hear that. I didn't plan well today. You are important to me." That tiny pocket of quiet turned a blade into a bridge. Same people, same topic, different rhythm. Or take a sales meeting. A client lists their frustrations with previous vendors. Most salespeople jump in the second they hear a problem. "We can fix that. Here's our feature set." But the best communicator waits. They reflect back. So the real cost wasn't just money. It was lost time and trust. Pause. The client nods and keeps going. They reveal the underlying fear, choosing wrong again. Now the solution you present will speak to fear, not just features. Space allowed the real problem to surface, and only real problems have real solutions. In leadership, pauses are the difference between noise and resonance. A leader who machine guns bullet points looks frantic, even if the information is good. A leader who shares direction with calm timing feels stable, and people trust stability more than brilliance. Want to sound wise? Don't try to sound wise. Aim to be clear. Then pause. Wisdom is often just clarity delivered at the right pace. A pause also protects your reputation in conflict. Quick reactions feel powerful but create casualties: truth, fairness, relationships. The discipline to hold a beat before responding allows emotion to cool and facts to organize. It's the difference between saying something you need to apologize for and saying something you can stand on. Here's a mistake to avoid: weaponizing silence. A pause should be a gift, not a punishment. If you use silence to shame, manipulate, or control, people will feel it and shut down. Healthy pauses are paired with open posture, steady breath, soft eyes, and a presence that says, "I'm here with you." Hostile pauses carry tight jawlines, crossed arms, and cold stares. Same length of silence, entirely different message. How do you build pause power into your daily habits? Start with micro drills. The period drill. Whenever you put a period on a sentence, stop. One breath, then continue. It will feel slow to you. It will feel confident to everyone else. The echo drill. After a key sentence, silently repeat your own words in your head once. This forces you to wait long enough for listeners to process. The question drill. Ask one question, then count 3 slow beats in your mind before saying anything else. Those 3 beats are where honesty appears. The transition drill. Before changing topics, hold a beat and signpost the shift. Here's the part that matters most. Pause, then move. Your ideas will stop blending together and start stacking. If you do public speaking or create content, script your pauses on purpose. Write them into your notes with slashes or brackets. This beat matters. Practice them out loud. Pauses that are not rehearsed disappear under pressure. Make them muscle memory. Pauses also transform tone. If you struggle with sounding harsh, you're likely moving too fast. Speed hardens edges. Space softens them. When you slow down, your pitch lowers slightly, your words stretch, and warmth returns to your voice. People don't just hear your words, they feel your pace. Your pace tells them whether they are safe with you. There's a deeper benefit here: self-respect. Rushing teaches your nervous system that your ideas only matter if you jam them in before someone cuts you off. Pausing teaches your system that your ideas have weight, worth waiting for, worth landing, worth repeating. That shift changes posture, breath, and presence. Over time, people start describing you differently: measured, thoughtful, grounded. The pause rewrites your identity from the inside out. Let's talk about interviews and negotiations. In job interviews, candidates often sabotage strong answers by racing to fill silence, layering filler until clarity disappears. Try this instead. Deliver the answer in clean sentences, then stop. If the interviewer keeps looking at you, smile gently and hold eye contact. In negotiations, state your ask clearly, then sit in the quiet. Many concessions happen during that quiet, not because you pressured anyone, but because you honored the moment's gravity. What about texting and email, the modern minefields where tone goes to die? Even here, pausing is a superpower. Don't send the first draft of an emotional message. Type it, breathe, reread, walk away for 2 minutes, then edit for clarity, goodwill, and brevity. Digital pause prevents real-world damage. A pause is also the most respectful response to someone else's pain. When a friend shares grief, you don't need a perfect sentence. You need presence. I'm here. Pause. Let tears breathe. Let silence say what words can't. People remember who gave them space to be human. Be that person. You may worry, if I pause, won't I look unsure? Only if your body contradicts your pause. Pair your silence with a grounded stance, relaxed shoulders, and steady breathing. Then your pause reads as poise, not panic. The body teaches the room how to interpret the quiet you create. Here's a 7-day pause challenge to lock this skill into your nervous system. Day 1. Speak in sentences, not paragraphs. Period 1 breath. All day. Day 2. Ask 3 deeper questions than you normally would. After each question, count 3 in your head before saying a word. Day 3. Identify 1 sentence in every important conversation that deserves an anchor pause. Deliver it. Stop. Let it resonate. Day 4. Replace 1 defensive reaction with a pre-voice pause. Breathe. Then answer with 1 calm sentence beginning with, "What I'm hearing is." Day 5. In a meeting, create space for quieter voices. Share your point, then leave a deliberate silence and say, "I'd like to hear your take." Wait. Day 6. Rewrite 1 email with a digital pause. Draft, break, edit for clarity and kindness. Send. Day 7. Share something meaningful with someone and practice your own anchor pause after the key line. Notice how much more powerful it feels to let it land. Measure your progress by outcomes, not feelings. Silence feels longer to the speaker than to the listener. What feels like 3 hours to you is 3 seconds to them. Watch what happens to their body language. Do shoulders drop? Do eyes lift? Do they keep talking? Those are green lights. Trust them. You'll discover something beautiful as you master this. People open around you. Meetings calm around you. Conflicts shrink around you. Creativity rises around you. Not because you learned 15 new phrases, because you learned the discipline of space. In a world addicted to noise, space is rare. Rare becomes valuable. Valuable becomes memorable. And memorable is the soil where your influence grows. So let your words breathe. Let your meaning sink. Let the room think. That's not passivity, that's power. Speak with intention. Stop with purpose. And give others the room to bring their honest words to the surface. When you do, conversations stop being battlegrounds and start becoming bridges. And the person who builds bridges, slowly, steadily, with space, is the person everyone follows when it matters most. You can have the right words, the right mindset, and even the right message, but if your body betrays nervous energy, people will feel your anxiety before they hear your wisdom. Communication isn't just what comes out of your mouth. It's the energy your presence carries. And one of the biggest leaks of that energy comes from nervous habits. The restless tapping of your fingers, the shifting of your feet, the constant, or the subtle fidget that tells the world, "I'm not fully in control right now." But here's the truth. You are not a nervous person. You've simply trained your body to express stress instead of stability. The good news is that you can retrain it. You can replace those restless tics with something infinitely more powerful: calm, steady breathing. Your breath is your foundation. It's your anchor when pressure rises and your bridge between thought and expression. Most people think confidence comes from words. It doesn't. Confidence comes from oxygen, from the still rhythm of breath that tells your body, I'm safe. I belong here. I can handle this. Think about what happens when you get nervous. Your heart speeds up. Your breath becomes shallow. Your shoulders tense. Your voice shakes. Your thoughts race. And as your body loses control, your mind tries to compensate with words. That's why people ramble when they're anxious. The body is screaming, slow down. But the mouth is sprinting ahead, trying to outtalk the fear. You can't fight that chaos with willpower. You fight it with breathing. Deep, rhythmic, controlled breathing is nature's built-in reset button. It slows the heartbeat, feeds the brain, and signals every system in your body to relax. Once you control your breath, you control your presence. And once you control your presence, you control the room. Try this right now. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 4. Hold again for 4. That's called box breathing, a method used by soldiers, athletes, and high performers to stay calm under pressure. It works because it forces your attention back to rhythm instead of reaction. Now, apply that to real life. You're about to speak in a meeting. Your pulse is rising. You feel that familiar pressure in your chest. Before you begin, pause. Take 1 deep, intentional breath. Hold it. Release it. That's it. In those few seconds, you've told your body a new story. We're not in danger. We're in control. When you finally speak, your voice will carry strength, not strain. This is not about appearing calm, it's about being calm. Because the truth is, your body speaks louder than your voice ever will. Nervous energy whispers insecurity even when your words sound confident. People might not be able to name it, but they feel it. They sense when someone's body and words are not in alignment. But when your breathing is steady, your words, posture, and energy line up. You don't have to act confident, you simply become it. Think about great communicators. Their movements are minimal. Their breathing is slow and even. Their tone is grounded. They don't rush. They don't fidget. They seem unshakable. That's not natural talent. It's trained calmness. Their stillness isn't empty. It's charged with focus. Here's the science. Shallow breathing tells your brain you're under threat, activating the fight or flight response. Deep breathing flips the switch back to safety, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for calm, digestion, and steady function. It's literally how you tell your brain, I'm fine. And when your brain believes you're fine, your voice, your face, and your body follow. You see, communication is energy exchange. Every room you walk into has a certain rhythm. If you enter with frantic energy, you amplify chaos. If you enter with calm energy, you restore order. The person who controls their breath controls the emotional temperature of the room. Start small. Before you walk into any conversation that matters, pause outside the door. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold, exhale fully through your mouth. 3 times. This simple reset takes less than a minute, but it changes everything. Your brain clears. Your voice steadies. Your thoughts organize. And here's the hidden benefit. When you breathe deeply, you slow your speech. You stop rushing to fill silence. You let words land. You sound intentional instead of impulsive. That rhythm makes people trust you. Fast talkers may grab attention, but calm talkers hold it. Now, let's address the habits themselves. Nervous movements don't vanish by force. They fade through awareness. The next time you catch yourself fidgeting, tapping your foot, playing with your phone, adjusting your sleeves, don't judge it. Just notice it. Then redirect your focus to your breath. One breath replaces one habit. Another breath replaces another. Slowly, nervous energy transforms into calm energy. Your body is like a student. It learns what you repeatedly teach it. Every time you breathe through stress instead of acting out stress, you are reprogramming your nervous system. You're teaching your body that pressure is not danger, it's opportunity. Let's walk through some real-world examples. In a job interview, you're asked a question. You feel the urge to rush. Instead, you take a breath. You pause for a moment. That pause looks like confidence. You give yourself space to think, then answer clearly. The interviewer sees poise instead of panic. In a presentation, you lose your place mid-sentence. Instead of panicking, you inhale, smile, and continue. The audience doesn't notice the gap. They notice your composure. Because calmness, not perfection, is what people remember. In an argument, someone raises their voice. You feel the surge of adrenaline. Instead of matching their energy, you take a deep breath. You slow your reply. You answer from control, not emotion. Suddenly, you've flipped the power dynamic. You're not reacting to them. They're reacting to you. This is the invisible strength that separates leaders from followers. It's not the loudest voice that leads. It's the most centered presence. Breathing also has a memory effect. The more consistently you practice calm breathing, the faster your body recalls it under pressure. Eventually, you won't have to think about it. Stress will trigger stillness, not shaking. Calm will become your automatic setting. At this point, something amazing happens. You start influencing people before you even speak. Your calmness becomes contagious. When everyone else is panicking, your breathing slows the room down. When others are rushing, you become the still point that everyone looks to. And this doesn't just affect communication. It changes your life. Calm breathing lowers anxiety, improves sleep, sharpens focus, and strengthens emotional control. It's the secret weapon behind emotional intelligence, the ability to stay steady when life isn't. Remember, your breath is always available. You don't need tools, money, or talent to use it. You just need awareness. So here's your challenge. Start your mornings with 2 minutes of calm breathing. Do it again before bed. Then bring it into moments of tension throughout the day. Soon, you won't need to remind yourself, you'll just be calm. Over time, people will notice. They won't always know why, but they'll say things like, "You're always so composed. I feel calmer when you talk. You never seem nervous." That's the power of presence built from breathing. Replace your nervous habits. Breathe with intention. Speak from steadiness. Move from control. And you'll find that confidence isn't something you fake. It's something you breathe into existence. There's a silent language that speaks louder than words. A connection that begins before a single sound is made. It's not in your voice, not in your gestures, but in your eyes. Your eyes are the bridge between your mind and another person's heart. They reveal attention, honesty, and confidence long before your words ever get the chance. When you look someone in the eye, you're not just communicating. You're saying, "I see you. I value you. I'm here with you." And that message, though silent, is the foundation of trust. Think about the last time you talked to someone who never looked at you. Their gaze kept drifting, to the floor, to their phone, to somewhere behind you. How did that make you feel? Probably unseen, unimportant, maybe even dismissed. Now, think about someone who looked directly at you while you spoke. Calm, focused, steady. You felt respected, didn't you? You felt heard. That's the difference eye contact makes. Eye contact doesn't just help others trust you. It helps you trust yourself. When you avoid someone's gaze, your brain registers that avoidance as insecurity. But when you hold eye contact, even for a few seconds, your mind receives the opposite signal. I belong here. You're telling your nervous system, I'm safe. I can handle this. That message radiates through your tone, your posture, and your words. When you look directly into someone's eyes with calmness, you create an invisible agreement between souls. We're in this moment together. That's presence. And presence is power. But let's clarify something important. Real eye contact is not a stare. It's not about dominance or intimidation. It's about connection. You don't need to lock eyes endlessly like you're in a staring contest. You simply need to meet someone's eyes, stay there long enough for your attention to be felt, and then naturally look away for a breath before returning. That rhythm is what makes it human, authentic, and comfortable. Here's the secret. Your eyes don't just see, they send. They send energy, emotion, and truth. That's why lies feel uneasy. The eyes expose what the mouth hides. You can say all the right words, but if your eyes are restless or evasive, people sense it immediately. Trust is lost before the sentence ends. But when your eyes and words are aligned, steady, warm, congruent, people feel your sincerity even if your message is difficult. In every culture, eyes are the universal sign of presence. From a child seeking comfort to a leader giving direction, the eyes tell the truth about who's paying attention. That's why when someone says, "Look me in the eyes," they're really saying, "Show me you mean it." Let's bring this to practical life. In a job interview, your qualifications matter, but your gaze often decides how those qualifications are received. Shifting eyes signal uncertainty. Steady eyes signal readiness. The interviewer may not consciously note it, but subconsciously, your gaze tells them, "You can trust me to handle pressure." In relationships, eye contact is the heartbeat of intimacy. When your partner speaks and your eyes wander, they feel unseen. But when you maintain soft, steady eye contact, they feel validated. They feel chosen. Even silence feels full when two people's eyes stay connected. Sometimes the greatest love language is attention itself. In friendships, eye contact deepens understanding. You don't have to say, "I get you." Your eyes do it for you. That's why friends can share a look across a room and communicate entire paragraphs without saying a word. In leadership, eye contact builds loyalty. A leader who hides behind screens, papers, or quick glances loses connection. But a leader who takes a moment to look directly into the eyes of their team communicates strength and empathy in the same breath. They say, "I see you and I believe in you." That moment can inspire more than any speech. And in conflict, eye contact is your greatest tool for de-escalation. When arguments rise, most people break eye contact. It's uncomfortable. But if you can hold calm, grounded eye contact in tense moments, you communicate control. You say without words, "I'm not here to attack. I'm here to understand." That steadiness lowers defenses. It's how respect returns to heated conversations. Let's look at the psychology behind this. Eye contact activates the limbic system, the part of the brain that reads emotional signals. It's how we sense safety or threat. A person who meets your eyes with genuine calm triggers safety. A person who avoids your gaze triggers suspicion. This happens subconsciously in a fraction of a second. That's why eye contact creates trust faster than any explanation can. But beyond psychology, there's something spiritual about it. When you look into someone's eyes, truly look, you're seeing a reflection of shared humanity. You're saying, "We're both here, in this moment, alive and aware." That brief connection reminds both of you of something deeper than words, presence itself. Now, how do you train this skill if eye contact feels uncomfortable? Start small. Practice in safe conversations with a friend, a colleague, or even in the mirror. Hold your own gaze for 10 seconds while speaking. It might feel strange at first, but over time, your comfort will grow. Your brain learns through exposure. The more you practice, the more natural it feels. Next, use the triangle technique. When you're speaking with someone, imagine a triangle across their face. One point on each eye and one at the mouth. Move your gaze gently among those 3 points. It keeps your eye contact dynamic and natural, never frozen. Another exercise. In conversations, practice holding eye contact 1 second longer than feels comfortable. That extra second is often the moment where connection happens. Most people look away too soon, right before trust forms. Stay for that 1 second more, and you'll start seeing a shift in how people respond to you. And here's a secret pattern used by powerful communicators. When you make a key statement, hold eye contact. When you transition to a new idea, glance away briefly. This mirrors the rhythm of thought and makes you feel authentic rather than robotic. Eye contact is also the hidden engine behind confident tone. When your gaze is steady, your voice naturally slows and deepens. You project certainty because your attention is external, not trapped inside your thoughts. That's why even shy people can appear magnetic when they master this. Their energy moves outward instead of inward. There's also an emotional discipline in this practice. Looking into someone's eyes forces you to feel. You can't hide behind words or speed. You become vulnerable, and vulnerability is the birthplace of real influence. When people see that you're fully there, not hiding behind clever phrases or surface charm, they open up. They trust you, not because you're perfect, but because you're present. This is the real essence of charisma. It's not loudness, it's presence. Charisma begins with eyes that say, "I'm with you, not above you." In families, this is gold. Children learn safety and confidence from a parent's gaze. When a parent looks them in the eye with calm attention, the child feels secure in the world. Partners who keep eye contact during disagreements repair faster and love deeper. Even friends who maintain this level of attention form unbreakable loyalty. If you want to leave a mark on people, don't focus only on what you'll say, focus on how you'll see. Because when you truly see someone, they remember it. Here's your challenge. Tomorrow, in every interaction, practice giving full eye contact. Not intense, not forced, but sincere. Look into their eyes when they speak. Hold it when you speak. Don't flinch, don't rush. Just be there. Watch how people react. You'll notice their posture soften. You'll see them smile more easily. You'll feel their energy shift. Why? Because being seen is healing. Over time, this will become your natural state. You'll walk into rooms differently, calm, grounded, magnetic. People will describe you as confident, trustworthy, even charismatic. But the truth is simple, you'll just be present. Your eyes are not mirrors of fear, they're windows of truth. And the more you learn to use them, the more people will see not just your words, but your soul. So look into eyes, not to dominate, not to impress, but to connect. Because every great communicator knows, before the words matter, the eyes must meet. Words are energy. Every sentence you speak either builds someone up or tears them down. Every phrase you release leaves an imprint on the listener and on you. You may forget what you said after a few moments, but the person who heard you might carry it for years. That's the weight of language. It's not just communication, it's creation. Most people underestimate how powerful their words are. They throw them carelessly, out of frustration, ego, or habit, and then wonder why people pull away, why relationships feel heavy, why conversations turn cold. They forget that words are seeds. Some grow flowers, others grow thorns. And what you plant determines what surrounds you. The truth is simple. Your words are shaping your reality every day. If you speak with anger, you build tension. If you speak with kindness, you build connection. If you speak with faith, you build courage. If you speak with doubt, you build fear. Your mouth is either a weapon or a healing instrument, and you choose which one it becomes. Think back for a moment. Remember a time someone spoke to you with genuine encouragement, told you they believed in you, reminded you of your strength, or simply said, "You did great." That one moment probably stayed in your memory. It may have even changed your direction. Now think of the opposite. A time someone insulted you, mocked you, or dismissed your effort. That moment lingers too, doesn't it? It's because the human heart never forgets how words made it feel. Words can open doors or close them forever. They can pull people out of darkness or push them deeper into it. That's why the best communicators are not just articulate, they are intentional. They know that the right words at the right time can heal, motivate, and inspire change. Let's break this down into something practical. Every time you speak, you have three options: to hurt, to hold, or to help. Hurt with criticism. Hold with neutrality. Help with encouragement. Neutral words do nothing. Harmful words destroy. But uplifting words, they plant growth. Now, choosing uplifting words doesn't mean avoiding honesty or sugarcoating truth. It means learning how to speak truth without cruelty. You can correct without crushing. You can challenge without humiliating. You can disagree without disrespecting. Uplifting communication doesn't hide truth. It delivers it with compassion. For example, instead of saying, "You always mess this up," say, "This didn't work, but I know you can fix it." Instead of, "That idea won't work," say, "Let's explore another approach." Instead of, "You're not good at this," say, You're still learning this part, and that's okay. The same message, different impact. One destroys confidence. The other builds it. One shuts people down. The other lifts them to try again. This is the language of leaders. This is how great parents raise strong children, how great managers build loyal teams, and how great people leave a trail of respect wherever they go. People rarely remember every detail of what you said, but they always remember how they felt after talking to you. If they leave the conversation feeling smaller, you've failed. If they leave feeling seen and capable, you've succeeded. When you choose words that uplift, your influence multiplies. People trust those who make them feel safe to be human. They'll seek your company, your advice, your leadership, not because you flatter them, but because you remind them of their value. Now let's talk about awareness, because most harmful words are spoken unconsciously. The sarcastic jab, the passive remark, the impatient sigh disguised as humor. These habits slip out when you stop paying attention. But words spoken without awareness still leave real wounds. So before you speak, pause. Ask yourself, what effect will my words have on this person? If this sentence were carved into their memory forever, would I be proud of it? That small pause, that moment of awareness, is enough to turn damage into dignity. If you want to build a powerful voice, practice this simple discipline. Before every important sentence, run it through a 3-step filter. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If your words fail any one of those tests, reframe them or hold them back. Restraint is strength. Now, let's explore the subtle difference between empty praise and uplifting truth. People don't need flattery, they crave recognition. Flattery feeds ego. Recognition feeds growth. When you recognize someone's effort, you affirm what's real. I noticed how much work you put into that. When you uplift with truth, your words build foundations. But when you flatter with exaggeration, your words lose weight. Authenticity is what makes encouragement stick. Empathy is another key ingredient. You can't uplift someone if you don't first feel where they are. That means listening beyond their words, noticing tone, energy, and emotion. Encouragement that connects starts with understanding. Example: if a friend says, "I feel like I'm failing," don't rush to say, "No, you're doing great." Instead, pause. Feel their emotion. Then say, "I get that. You're going through a lot, but I've seen how hard you're trying. That effort means more than you realize." That's empathy in action. Uplifting through truth, not dismissal. And here's something most people overlook. Your words toward yourself matter just as much. The way you speak internally sets the tone for how you speak externally. If your inner dialogue is filled with criticism, "I'm not enough," "I always screw up," "I'll never make it," that negativity leaks into how you treat others. But when you replace self-attack with self-respect, your communication changes from the inside out. So start encouraging yourself. Say, "I'm learning," instead of, "I'm failing." Say, "I can figure his out," instead of, "I can't do this." Because every sentence you repeat to yourself becomes a belief, and beliefs shape your energy. Now, let's talk about leadership. Great leaders use language to lift. They don't lead by fear. They lead by faith. They understand that motivation built on fear collapses when the fear fades, but motivation built on belief grows stronger over time. When a leader says, "I trust you to handle this," something powerful happens. The team rises to meet that trust. People become what you believe about them. So choose to believe out loud. Tell people what you see in them before they see it in themselves. That's how confidence is born. At home, it's the same principle. Parents shape their children's identity with words. "You're always difficult" becomes a prophecy. "You're strong enough to figure this out" becomes a foundation. Spouses shape their bond the same way. "You never listen" builds walls. "I appreciate when you hear me out" builds bridges. In friendships, uplifting language creates loyalty. Everyone is fighting silent battles you can't see. Sometimes a single sentence of compassion, "I'm proud of you for hanging in there," can keep someone going when they were ready to give up. The world doesn't need more clever talkers. It needs more kind communicators. people who speak strength into others without expecting anything in return. So make this your daily discipline. Leave people better than you found them. If they enter your conversation tired, let them leave a little lighter. If they come discouraged, let them leave with hope. If they come confident, add fuel to their fire. That's what great communicators do. They plant courage with every word. And one final truth. Every word you speak is also a mirror. The words you use to describe others reveal who you are becoming. If your vocabulary is full of judgment, you're feeding bitterness. If it's full of encouragement, you're feeding growth. So speak deliberately. Speak kindly. Speak powerfully. Your words are not just sounds. They are vibrations that ripple through hearts and time. Choose to be remembered as the person whose words built others, not the one whose words broke them. Because when you learn to use language as a tool for elevation, your influence becomes limitless. People will trust you, follow you, and remember you, not for what you achieved, but for how your words made them feel. You can say all the right words in the world, but if your tone doesn't match your message, people won't believe you. They won't remember what you said. They'll remember how it felt. Because words are logic, but tone is emotion. And emotion is what people respond to. Think about this for a moment. You can tell someone, "I'm proud of you," in a dull, lifeless tone, and it means nothing. You can say those same words with warmth, sincerity, and energy, and you can literally see their face light up. Same sentence, different music. It's not the script that changes hearts. It's the sound of the soul behind it. Your tone is the bridge between what you mean and what people feel. It carries truth, emotion, and intent. It tells people whether your words can be trusted or ignored. You could be saying, "I love you," "I'm sorry," or "I understand." But if your tone doesn't carry alignment, your message dies before it reaches their heart. This is where most people fail in communication. They think the right words are enough. They prepare speeches, write perfect texts, memorize lines, and then deliver them with a tone that's flat, rushed, cold, or defensive. The result? Misunderstanding, misalignment, disconnection. So here's the key. Don't only think about what you want to say, think about how it should sound. Because people don't just hear you, they feel your tone in their nervous system. Their body decides whether to relax or tense up based on how your voice carries emotion. Let's break this down. Tone is made up of 4 main elements: pitch, pace, volume, and energy. Pitch is how high or low your voice sounds. A lower pitch usually conveys calm and authority. A higher pitch often conveys excitement or stress. Pace is how fast or slow you speak. Speed signals urgency. Slowness signals thoughtfulness. Volume controls presence. Too loud feels aggressive. Too soft feels insecure. Balanced volume feels confident. Energy is the emotional current behind your voice. It tells people whether you care or not. You can manipulate these 4 levers to align your tone with your intention. If you want to comfort someone, lower your pitch slightly, slow your pace, and soften your volume. Let warmth carry through your breath. If you want to inspire, raise your energy, lift your tone, and let the rhythm rise. If you want to correct or instruct, keep your tone steady, firm, but never sharp. It's about control, not dominance. Here's a powerful truth. Tone is the emotional fingerprint of your message. It reveals whether you're genuinely connected or just performing. People might forget the details of what you say, but they'll always remember how your voice made them feel. That's why some leaders can say one sentence and shift an entire room, not because of vocabulary, but because of vibration. Their tone carries certainty, compassion, and conviction in perfect balance. Now think about the opposite. Have you ever heard an apology that didn't feel real? Someone says, "I'm sorry," but the tone is defensive or indifferent. Your brain instantly rejects it. Or when someone says, "I'm fine," but their tone cracks slightly, and you know they're not. That's tone revealing truth. Tone never lies. Words can pretend. Tone can't. This is why mastering your tone is essential for trust. It's not about acting. It's about alignment. Your tone must be the emotional mirror of your intention. Let's explore how to practice this in different settings. In personal relationships, when you express love, gratitude, or apology, slow down. Let sincerity fill your voice. Don't rush through emotional sentences. The slower your tone, the deeper it lands. When you're angry, pause before speaking. Let calmness return to your tone before releasing words. A calm tone doesn't mean weakness. It means strength under control. In leadership or work, your tone defines culture. If your tone is impatient or dismissive, people will fear speaking up. If your tone is steady and encouraging, people will feel safe to contribute ideas. You can deliver tough feedback in a firm but respectful tone, and people will accept it because they feel respected, not attacked. In public speaking, your tone is everything. Use variation, highs, lows, speed, stillness. A monotone voice, no matter how smart the content, will lose the audience. But a tone that dances between energy and calm keeps attention alive. Silence between phrases, paired with controlled tone, amplifies impact. In everyday conversations, even simple words like thank you, good morning, or I appreciate you can transform someone's day when spoken with real tone, not robotic habit. Add intention. Let your tone match the gratitude you mean to express. Here's an exercise. Record yourself reading the same paragraph 3 times, once with enthusiasm, once with calm reflection, once with authority. Listen back. Feel how the meaning shifts. That awareness will change how you speak forever. Another practice. When speaking to someone, mirror their tone just slightly. If they're calm, be calm. If they're excited, meet that energy with warmth. This creates rapport. People trust those who feel in sync with them. And remember this truth. Tone begins before the first word. It begins in your body. If your shoulders are tense and your breathing is shallow, your voice will sound strained. If you breathe deeply and ground yourself, your tone naturally relaxes. Calm body equals calm tone. Confident body equals confident tone. You can't fake that. So, before any important conversation, pause, breathe, set your emotional intention. Ask yourself, what do I want this person to feel after I speak? Then let your tone carry that feeling. If you want them to feel appreciated, let warmth guide your voice. If you want them to feel safe, let steadiness guide your voice. If you want them to feel inspired, let conviction guide your voice. If you want them to feel corrected but respected, let composure guide your voice. Mastering tone is emotional intelligence in action. It means your emotions serve your message, not sabotage it. It's not about suppressing feeling, it's about shaping it. Tone also carries self-control. When someone attacks you verbally, your instinct may be to match their energy, to raise your voice, defend, argue. But when you keep your tone measured, you regain power. You show composure. And composure earns respect faster than aggression ever could. There's an ancient truth hidden here. He who masters his voice masters his emotions. Because the tone of your voice is the echo of your state of mind. If your tone changes, your energy changes. You can literally use your own voice to shift your emotional state. Speak calmly, and calmness grows inside you. Speak confidently, and confidence rises with your words. When you learn to control tone, you learn to control the moment. You'll start to notice things other people miss. You'll feel when someone's tone hides fear or pain. You'll hear what they mean, not just what they say. That sensitivity turns you into a better listener, a better friend, and a better leader. People won't just hear you anymore. They'll feel you. And when people feel you, they trust you. So, here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, focus on tone over words. Don't worry about sounding perfect. Focus on sounding aligned. Each day, pick one conversation and ask yourself afterward, did my tone match my message? Over time, this awareness will transform how people respond to you. They'll lean in more. They'll listen longer. They'll respect you deeper. Because here's the secret: words reach the mind, but tone reaches the soul. And when you speak from alignment, when your words, tone, and emotion move in harmony, your voice doesn't just communicate, it moves people. Match your tone with the emotion of your message. Speak from the heart, not from habit. Let your tone carry truth, care, and intention. and you'll never have to raise your voice to be heard. You don't lose control when people provoke you. You lose control when you react before understanding. Most people live in a permanent state of emotional reflex. Someone says something sharp, and they snap back. Someone criticizes them, and they defend. Someone misunderstands them, and they rush to correct. It's not communication, it's combat. And the battlefield is your mind. But here's the truth. Reaction is weakness. Response is power. Reaction comes from ego. Response comes from awareness. Reaction protects pride. Response protects peace. When you react instantly, your emotions hijack your intelligence. The rational part of your brain shuts off, and the emotional part takes over. You speak from hurt, not understanding. And once words leave your mouth, they can't be taken back. You might win the argument, but you lose respect, trust, and calmness in the process. There's a reason wise people pause before speaking. That pause isn't hesitation, it's mastery. It's the space where emotion settles and truth surfaces. The difference between an average communicator and a powerful one is measured in seconds. The seconds they wait before replying. Let's understand this deeper. When you hear something that triggers emotion, an insult, a disagreement, a critique, your brain releases adrenaline. Prepares your body for defense. Your heart rate increases, your breath shortens, and your tongue rushes to protect your ego. That's the trap. Because when adrenaline takes over, empathy disappears. You stop listening. You start defending. The other person feels unheard, and the cycle continues. To control your reactions, you must train yourself to pause in that exact moment when everything in you wants to fight back. It's not easy. It takes awareness. But it's one of the most powerful emotional disciplines you can ever build. Here's what to do the moment you feel triggered. Step 1. Breathe before you speak. A single deep breath slows your body's stress response and reactivates logic. You move from impulse to intention. Step 2. Ask yourself silently, do I understand what they really mean? Often, what triggers you is not what was said, but how you interpreted it. You might be reacting to tone, assumption, or insecurity. But once you seek understanding first, clarity replaces anger. Step 3. Respond from purpose, not emotion. Purpose asks, what outcome do I want from this conversation? If you want peace, speak with calmness. If you want progress, speak with clarity. Don't burn bridges to prove a point. The strongest communicators are not those who never feel anger. They are those who feel it but refuse to let it lead. Picture this. Someone insults you in front of others. Most people react, they snap, defend, or retaliate. They match disrespect with disrespect. But imagine you pause, breathe, and respond with controlled calm. I understand how you feel. Let's discuss this privately. The entire dynamic changes. The other person loses the power of provocation, and you earn respect from everyone watching. That's composure. That's control. Control doesn't mean silence. It means selective speech. You don't speak to satisfy your emotions. You speak to achieve your intention. Now, let's talk about why people struggle with this so much. Most of us have been raised to equate reaction with strength. Society celebrates the one who stands up quickly, who never backs down. But quick reaction isn't strength, it's lack of discipline. Real power is quiet. Real strength is choosing not to give others control over your inner state. When someone provokes you and you stay calm, you win twice. First, you keep your peace. Second, you expose their immaturity. The world always notices composure, it's rare. This is especially important in leadership. A leader who reacts impulsively creates fear. A leader who responds calmly creates trust. If you want people to respect you, let your emotions be private and your responses be professional. That calmness makes people feel safe around you, and safety is the foundation of influence. The same principle applies in relationships. When your partner criticizes you, your instinct might be to defend. But what if instead, you said, I want to understand what you mean. Can you explain that a bit more? Suddenly, you've shifted from argument to collaboration. The tension melts because you've made space for understanding. Remember this. In every heated conversation, one person must be the mirror, not the fire. Be the mirror. Reflect calmness back, not chaos. Let's break this into practical skills you can start using today. 1. Master the 3-second rule. Before replying to anything emotionally charged, wait 3 seconds. Use those seconds to breathe, ground yourself, and ask, will this reply create peace or more fire? That micropause rewires your emotional reflexes over time. 2. Replace reaction with reflection. When someone says something that hurts, instead of reacting, repeat their words in your mind. Then reframe. Why would they say this? What are they feeling? This turns your focus from self-defense to understanding. 3. Control your tone before your tongue. Even if you say the right words in the wrong tone, they'll sound wrong. Lower your voice, slow your pace, and anchor your breath. Calm tone disarms hostility faster than arguments. 4. Detach from ego battles. Most conflicts aren't about truth, they're about ego. The moment you stop needing to be right, you start communicating with wisdom. Ask yourself, would I rather be right or effective? Choose effective. 5. Summarize before you reply. When emotions are high, say, let me make sure I understand. You're saying that this shows respect and ensures clarity. People calm down when they feel heard. And here's something most people never realize. When you stay calm under pressure, you gain psychological leverage. Your silence and composure make others question their own behavior. They begin to mirror your calm. It's how emotional leadership works. In business, this skill is gold. A client panics about a delay, a colleague blames you, or a negotiation turns tense. Your calmness becomes the anchor that stabilizes the entire situation. You may not control the outcome, but you always control the tone. In personal life, it's even more powerful. Your children, spouse, or friends learn how to handle conflict by watching how you handle yours. Your composure teaches emotional intelligence better than any lecture could. But make no mistake, controlling your reactions doesn't mean being passive. It means being strategic. It means choosing your moment, your words, and your energy deliberately. It's responding from power, not panic. Here's the deeper truth. Silence is not weakness. It's assessment. When you stay quiet for a moment, you're not losing the argument, you're gaining information. You're observing patterns, tone, and truth. That's what allows your eventual response to hit deeper, cleaner, and wiser. So next time someone pushes your buttons, remember this. They're not controlling you, they're testing you. And your reaction reveals whether you pass that test. Your goal is not to suppress emotion, but to guide it. Feel it, acknowledge it, breathe through it, and then let your higher self choose the response. The world respects the calm thinker, not the loud reactor. The calm one wins negotiations, ends conflicts, builds relationships, and earns trust, because calmness communicates one powerful message. I am in control of myself. Here's your challenge. For the next week, whenever someone irritates you, whether it's a stranger cutting you off, a coworker criticizing you, or a loved one misunderstanding you, practice no instant reaction. Breathe, pause, ask questions, seek full understanding before responding. Then notice how much lighter your life feels. Every pause you take rewires your nervous system to choose peace over impulse. And over time, something beautiful happens. You stop reacting to everything. You stop absorbing everyone's chaos. You stop being emotionally dragged into situations that don't deserve your energy. That's not indifference. That's maturity. Control your reactions. Understand before responding. Because once you master that, you stop being controlled by others and start mastering yourself. If you want to make people feel valued, truly seen, and instantly connected to you, remember their names and the small details they share. Sounds simple, but it's one of the most powerful communication habits in the world. Most people forget names within seconds. Someone introduces themselves, you shake hands, smile, and 5 minutes later you're whispering to a friend, "What was their name again?" It's not because you have a bad memory, it's because you weren't present. The mind was distracted, preparing your next sentence, worrying about what to say, or thinking about yourself. You heard the name, but you didn't register it. You were physically there, mentally absent. But when you remember someone's name, when you recall a small thing they once mentioned, something magical happens. They light up, because it tells them you listened, you cared, you valued me enough to remember me. That's the foundation of human connection. Dale Carnegie once said, "A person's name is to that person the sweetest sound in any language." Why? Because it's their identity. It's proof that they matter. You don't need expensive gifts or perfect speeches to build influence. You just need to notice the small things that others overlook. Their name, their child's name, the story they told you last week, the goal they mentioned casually. That's how you become unforgettable. Let's break it down practically. The key to memory is presence. When you meet someone new, stop multitasking. Look them in the eye. Repeat their name aloud. "Nice to meet you, Priya." Saying it anchors it. Then silently repeat it in your mind once or twice while they're still speaking. You're training your brain to tag the memory. Next, create an association. Connect the name with an image, emotion, or something familiar. If you meet a man named Victor, imagine a small golden trophy victory. If you meet someone named Rose, picture a rose. It's not childish, it's science. The brain stores images better than abstract words. If you can, use the name again naturally in conversation. "So Victor, what inspired you to start this project?" That small repetition locks it deeper into memory without feeling forced. Now, remembering details is just as important as remembering names. When someone shares something personal, a hobby, a challenge, a dream, capture it mentally. You don't have to memorize everything. Just listen with genuine curiosity and visualize what they're saying. If they tell you, "I'm running my first marathon," imagine them at the starting line. If they say, "My daughter just started college," picture that proud parent moment. These mental pictures attach emotion to the memory, and emotion cements recall. After the conversation, write a quick note in your phone or journal. "Victor, fitness coach, loves hiking with his dog. Priya, runs a bakery, mentioned launching an online store next month." You're not being manipulative, you're being intentional. You're training your brain to treat people as important data, not background noise. And when you meet them again weeks, even months later, and say, "How's your bakery doing?" Or, "Did you finish that marathon?" they'll be stunned. Because almost no one remembers. That's how trust begins. That's how opportunities open. That's how leaders stand out. In business, this skill can double your influence. A manager who remembers an employee's family name earns loyalty. A salesperson who recalls a client's favorite vacation spot earns repeat business. A leader who remembers small victories in their team earns devotion. It's not about intellect, it's about intention. And here's the deeper truth. Memory follows emotion. You remember what you care about. If you struggle to recall details, it's not your brain's fault. It's your focus. Train your heart to care about people, and your mind will remember them naturally. Start seeing people not as transactions, but as stories. Every face you meet carries history, emotion, struggle, and hope. When you treat them that way, you naturally pay more attention. And when you pay more attention, memory takes care of itself. Now, let's talk about why this skill is rare. We live in a world of constant distraction. Notifications, screens, endless scrolling. Our attention span is shorter than ever. We remember what we consume, not who we connect with. That's why the person who remembers names and stories stands out instantly. In a forgetful world, remembering people is revolutionary. So how do you strengthen this as a daily practice? 1. Be fully present in introductions. When someone says their name, stop everything else. Don't think about your handshake, your appearance, or your reply. Just listen. Focus only on them for 3 seconds. It's enough. 2. Repeat and visualize. Repeat their name aloud. Picture them in a memorable context. This links name plus image plus emotion. 3. Use their name naturally. Sprinkle it once or twice during the conversation. Don't overdo it. Subtle repetition reinforces memory. 4. Write notes after meetings. In your phone or journal, jot down key details. It's not manipulation, it's mindfulness. 5. Review periodically. Before meeting someone again, review your notes. When you recall something personal, people feel instantly close to you. 6. Care. Sounds obvious, but it's the core. When you genuinely care, your brain prioritizes what matters. There's also a beautiful side effect to this discipline. It sharpens your focus in every area of life. You start remembering not just names, but commitments, ideas, goals. You become more reliable, more respected, more centered. Leaders who remember details about their teams inspire loyalty because they communicate one powerful message. You matter to me. Friends who remember small things, a favorite song, a tough week, a birthday, create bonds that last. And partners who remember what the other person said days or weeks ago build emotional safety, the foundation of love. Memory at its core is connection made visible. It says, I didn't just hear you. I kept a piece of you with me. Now imagine this as your habit. You walk into a room and people light up because you remember them. You talk to clients who feel genuinely respected. You speak to strangers who turn into loyal friends. That's not charisma, that's mindfulness. And if you think this doesn't matter, think again. People may forget your achievements, your titles, even your words, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And remembering someone's name, their story, or their struggle makes them feel seen. Here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, focus on remembering every new name you hear. Repeat it, visualize it, write it down, and recall it later. Watch how people's eyes brighten when you say their name again. You'll realize something profound. The smallest effort of memory creates the deepest impact of connection. Remember, memory is not just mental power, it's emotional presence. It's the discipline of caring enough to hold people in your mind. So strengthen your recall. Remember names. Remember stories. Remember moments. Because every person you remember remembers you. In a world addicted to noise, silence has become a superpower. Everyone wants to speak, to be right, to be heard, but very few have the strength to simply listen. To hold space without interrupting, without rushing, without needing to fill every gap with sound. Yet that silence, that patience, is where the deepest form of communication lives. You don't build connection by talking more. You build it by creating space for others to speak, think, and feel safe being themselves. Think about it. When was the last time someone gave you their full attention? Without checking their phone, without cutting you off, without waiting for their turn to talk. How did it feel? Peaceful, right? You felt valued. You felt respected. You felt heard. That's what patience in silence gives to others. It's not about being quiet. It's about being present. Most people fear silence. It feels awkward, heavy, even uncomfortable. They rush to fill it, thinking it makes the conversation smoother. But it doesn't. It makes it shallow. Silence is not emptiness. It's depth. It allows words to breathe, emotions to surface, and truth to emerge. When you practice patience in silence, you show others that you are not in a hurry to respond. You are here to understand. In that quiet space, something powerful happens. People open up. They go beyond surface talk. They reveal their real feelings, their fears, their hopes. Because they sense that you won't interrupt their honesty. Let's be real. Most of us don't listen to understand, we listen to reply. And when we do that, we send a silent message. What you're saying isn't as important as what I want to say next. But when you allow silence, your message changes completely. Take your time. I'm here with you. That's what makes people trust you. Silence isn't passive. It's active engagement without interruption. It requires emotional strength to hold space for another person without needing to dominate it. It's not easy, but it's one of the most profound ways to build connection and influence. When someone speaks to you, resist the urge to jump in. Let them finish. Then let a small silence hang in the air. Count 2 or 3 seconds before replying. That pause does more than you realize. It gives the other person time to reflect, to add, to feel that their words were received. And when they feel received, they start speaking from their heart, not just their mouth. Here's what patience in silence does for you. It protects you from misunderstanding. When you wait, you hear the full context before reacting. You catch the emotions between the lines. It protects your energy. You stop wasting effort trying to prove your point and start focusing on connection. And it elevates your presence. You become someone people trust to talk to because you listen without judgment. Think about the difference between a loud communicator and a patient one. The loud one dominates the room, fills it with words, and drains others. The patient one draws people in, speaks with calm, and creates peace wherever they go. That's the communicator you want to become. Let's apply this in real life. In business, imagine a leader who talks over everyone in a meeting. People stop sharing ideas. Creativity dies in silence. But a leader who pauses, who says, "I'd like to hear what you think," transforms the entire atmosphere. People lean in. Ideas flow. Trust grows. In relationships, patience in silence is the difference between an argument and understanding. When your partner vents their frustration, your instinct might be to interrupt, to defend, explain, or fix. But if you stay silent, breathe, and just listen, they will eventually calm down. They'll release their emotion, not their anger. That silence heals more than any lecture ever could. In parenting, silence teaches strength. When a child is upset and you don't rush to correct them but let them express, you show them their feelings are safe with you. They grow up emotionally stronger because you gave them space to feel, not fear. In friendships, silence builds intimacy. You don't always need the right advice. Sometimes, sitting in silence beside a friend going through pain says more than words ever could. And in leadership, silence commands power. The one who can stay calm and quiet in chaos becomes the anchor for everyone else. When a leader pauses before speaking, people listen more closely. Their words carry weight because they're not constant. You can even use silence strategically in negotiation or conflict. When you finish your point and stay silent, the other person feels the pressure to fill the gap, often revealing more than they intended. The pause becomes your advantage. But silence isn't only external, it's internal. It's the ability to quiet your mind while listening. Because even if your mouth is silent, your mind can still be noisy. You may be judging, comparing, planning your response. That's not true patience. True silence is when both your tongue and your thoughts are still enough to receive. Here's how you can train it. 1. Count to 3 before responding. Every time someone finishes speaking, silently count 1, 2, 3. You'll be surprised how many people continue talking when given space. 2. Practice full body listening. Instead of nodding out of habit, listen with your whole body. Eyes focused, posture steady, no distractions. Let your presence say, "You have my full attention." 3. Reflect instead of react. When you feel the urge to speak, ask yourself, is it necessary right now? Often, silence speaks louder than defense. 4. Replace advice with empathy. Instead of fixing someone's problem immediately, say, "That must be hard." Those 5 words do more healing than 100 pieces of advice. 5. Embrace pauses in yourself. After making a point, pause. Let your words breathe. Silence after truth gives truth its power. With time, you'll notice something extraordinary. Silence stops feeling uncomfortable. It starts feeling powerful. It becomes a signal of confidence, not insecurity. The loudest people are rarely the wisest. The ones who master silence carry an aura of strength that draws others in. Because when you're silent, people lean in. They respect your calmness. They feel your steadiness. You stop being another voice in the noise. You become the quiet force everyone listens to. So practice patience. Sit in silence. Let others finish. Let them express. Let them feel heard. Don't fill every gap. Don't chase every pause. Let the conversation breathe. Because silence is not the absence of communication. It's the presence of understanding. Here's your challenge. Tomorrow, in one conversation, just one, resist the urge to interrupt. Let silence exist. Watch how it changes the tone. Notice how the other person relaxes. Feel how calm you become. The more you do this, the more people will trust you, open up to you, and respect your voice when you finally speak. Because in a world full of noise, silence has become rare. And what is rare is powerful. Patience in silence doesn't make you quiet. It makes you unforgettable. At the end of every day, when the noise of the world fades and you're finally alone with your thoughts, there's a powerful opportunity waiting for you. Reflection. Not the kind where you replay mistakes just to feel regret. The kind where you learn from them. The kind where you study your own communication like a sculptor studies stone, shaping, refining, improving one detail at a time. You don't become a great communicator overnight. You build it, conversation by conversation, day by day, through awareness and correction. Every word you speak, every silence you hold, every emotion you control, it all becomes data. But most people never review it. They move from one day to the next, repeating the same patterns, missing the lessons hidden in their own behavior. Reflection is the discipline that separates average communicators from extraordinary ones. Think about how professionals treat their craft. Athletes review every game. Musicians replay every rehearsal. Leaders review every decision. Why? Because repetition without reflection leads to stagnation. You only get better when you learn from your performance. Communication works the same way. Every conversation you have throughout the day is a mirror, showing you what's working, what's not, and who you're becoming. Reflection is how you clean that mirror. Here's how to begin. At night, before you sleep, sit with yourself for 5 to 10 minutes. No distractions, no phone, just your thoughts. Then ask yourself a few simple but powerful questions. Did I truly listen to people today? Did I interrupt anyone out of impatience? Did my tone match my intention? Did I react emotionally or respond with understanding? Did I make anyone feel valued? Write down your answers. Be honest, not harsh. The goal isn't to judge yourself. It's to see yourself clearly. Awareness is the first step to growth. You might notice patterns. Maybe you realize you often cut people off mid-sentence when you're excited. Maybe you notice you speak too quickly when nervous, or that you forget to ask follow-up questions when people share something personal. These small observations are gold because once you see them, you can change them. Reflection turns communication into a skill instead of a habit. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. You might notice more flaws than progress. But stay patient, because slowly something shifts. You start catching yourself in the moment before you make the same mistake again. You pause before interrupting. You breathe before reacting. You choose a better tone. That's real progress. Writing your reflections is essential. When you write, you solidify learning. Your brain processes thoughts differently when you put them on paper. You don't need fancy journals or long essays. Just a few sentences each night. Today, I listened better during meetings, but I rushed when talking to my friend. Tomorrow, I'll slow down. I matched my tone well when giving feedback today. I could feel the calm in my voice. I reacted too quickly in one conversation. I'll breathe next time. These short notes become a roadmap for growth. They track your evolution in real time. And one day, you'll look back at your old entries and realize you've transformed. Reflection doesn't just improve skill. It builds self-respect. Because every night you reflect, you're telling yourself, my growth matters. My words matter. My presence matters. You begin to live intentionally. You stop saying things just to say them. You start speaking from purpose. You start listening with depth. You stop being reactive and start being reflective, even in real-time conversations. That's when you know the discipline has integrated into your life. Here's another layer to this practice. Mix reflection with gratitude. After analyzing your day, ask yourself, what am I thankful for in my conversations today? Maybe someone shared something personal with you. Maybe you made someone smile. Maybe you stayed calm in a moment that used to trigger you. Write that down too. Gratitude balances self-improvement with appreciation. It reminds you that even small progress is worth celebrating. Over time, nightly reflection changes how you move through the day. You start noticing your tone while speaking. You start observing body language as it happens. You start listening with more patience because you know you'll review it later. Reflection at night sharpens presence during the day. It builds a loop of awareness. Learn, apply, observe, adjust. That's how mastery happens. It also helps you let go. We all have moments we wish we'd handled better. Arguments, awkward silences, words spoken in haste. Without reflection, those moments stay trapped in guilt. But when you reflect, you turn them into teachers. You extract the lesson, forgive yourself, and release the rest. Reflection transforms regret into wisdom. The best communicators aren't perfect, they're aware. They notice when something feels off, they adjust, they grow. Reflection is their secret weapon. Let's go deeper into what this does for your mindset. When you review your interactions each night, you train your brain to think like a learner, not a critic. You stop labeling things as failures. You start calling them feedback. You stop saying, "I messed up," and start saying, "I learned." That subtle shift changes everything because you start treating communication as a skill you can master, not a personality you're stuck with. And that's the truth most people miss. Good communication isn't a talent. It's a habit. And reflection is how you reinforce that habit daily. So, make it part of your routine. Keep a notebook by your bed. Set a small reminder on your phone. 5 minutes a night. That's all. 5 minutes of reflection today will save you from years of repeating the same mistakes tomorrow. This practice also improves emotional intelligence. When you analyze your interactions, you become more aware of how your words make others feel. You start noticing emotional cues faster. You start responding with empathy instead of assumption. And people begin to trust you more deeply because you show growth, not just in skill but in character. Reflection turns your life into a living classroom. Every conversation, every misunderstanding, every silence becomes a lesson. Imagine doing this for a year. That's 365 lessons, 365 chances to refine your voice, deepen your listening, and strengthen your presence. You'd become unrecognizable, calmer, wiser, more influential. Communication mastery isn't about talking perfectly. It's about evolving daily. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what did I learn today? Who did I listen to with Jens? Where can I be better tomorrow? Write it down. Then rest knowing that you grew a little wiser. Do this not once, not occasionally, but every night. Because consistent reflection compounds like interest. It doesn't just change how you speak. It changes who you are. And one day, you'll realize, you don't just communicate better, you live better. Your words will carry peace instead of tension. Your tone will carry confidence instead of insecurity. Your silence will carry presence instead of fear. That's the reward of daily reflection. Quiet, powerful transformation. So as you close your eyes tonight, remember, your best teacher is your own experience. Your best lesson is hidden in your last conversation. And your best improvement begins when the day ends. Reflect nightly, learn daily, grow endlessly, because great communication isn't built by time, it's built by awareness. And awareness, my friend, begins in silence. Not the silence of others, but the silence you give yourself to listen to you.